You go online now, boy.
Okay. The gist of what we're doing is we're going to understand we can earn our money to take care of our family, or we can create profits, which are dividends and things of that nature from investments, from businesses, or we can do both and realize that we can become wealthy. It's just all about discipline, discipline, discipline. Understand what your goal is and stick to it. But first of all, I just want to let you guys know that I'm in the process of getting a book published. And the name of the book is You Are the Change That You've Been Waiting For. Every class we've given is not about you getting something, but it's about you utilizing your mind to achieve greatness. We, growing up in poverty, we don't believe that. But for all the people who've accumulated great wealth, it's all about using your mind to achieve the unthinkable. So today, as you walk through the door, I hope that all the negativity, all the I can't do, all these things are eliminated from your vocabulary so that we can sit here and put our minds together to grow and become that phenomenal person that we were supposed to be on the day that we were born. Mm-hmm. So, hopefully, well not hopefully, when my book gets published, then we're going to come back to the church here, and we're going to have a great shindig. We're going to do an overview of everything that we've covered. We're going to have a luncheon and all that different stuff just to celebrate. And I know who's been here, and I know who's interested. And as Hannah and I was talking before we got started, that maybe 1% of the people will be interested in this, because have been told you gotta work, and you gotta work until you die, and you can earn $5, $10 an hour, but you still gotta work. So we want to get out of that mentality, and we want to understand that through our strategic planning, discipline, that we can sit at home and retire at, some of us are already in our 50s, but for the young people, we can retire at 40 or 50. So bear with me. This is going to be quite the journey. And I know, because you've all been here, you're going to enjoy this ride. The first thing you need to understand and be totally honest with yourself, when you ask yourself, who am I and what makes me tick? Well, I found this awesome chart in a book called Bridges Out of Poverty. And what it dictates is how you think when you're in poverty, how you think when you're in the middle class, and how you think when you're wealthy. And there are some huge differences. You need to check yourself and to understand that if I am right now in the poverty category, how am I going to transition to the middle class? Every class we've given has been transitioning. It's transitioning the mind from what you thought to what reality is based on what you can do for yourself. Now, possessions. When you're in poverty, you possess people. You don't have money. So what do? As a man, you possess your girlfriend, you possess your kids. You know, that's what you're proud of. When you're in the middle class, you possess things. And when you're wealthy, you possess those one-of-a-kind objects. You gotta have. And I'm not going to read this whole list, but you guys can read it. I'm going to hit some highlights. Money. When you're in poverty, it's to be used and spent. When you're in the middle class, you manage it. When you're wealthy, be conserved and invested. In poverty, you spend everything you got. And I will tell you guys this, and I probably told you this story before, but I had some kids that got $35,000 each from their dad's debt. Within 2-3 months, they were completely broke. Completely broke. Because why? They wine and dined their friends, they bought all these exotic clothes, bought raggedy cars, and did all these things, and that money was gone. When you are middle class, you're going to manage that money and make it grow. And the wealthy is going to turn that $70,000 into $7 million. A whole different train of thought. Yes. But that's where we are. Yes. Food. Key question is, did you have enough? For the middle class, well, in poverty, quantity is important. In the middle class, did you like it? Quality is important. Now, when you're wealthy, the key question is, was it presented well? Presentation is important. See the difference? So, one of the fascinating ones, the family stack. In poverty is matriarchal, which means the mom and the grandmamas run things. In the middle class is patriarchal, which means the father is the head of the house. You know, when you're wealthy, it depends on who has the money. That's who has the say. So, you know, grandmamas and mamas are very powerful. This is why I emphasize a lot. When you're 50, you're not about to die. You've got 30, 40 more years to live. So, when you start thinking about creating your legacy, my legacy will be, well, I didn't train my kids to do the right thing, so they become bad adults. But as we talked about the last class on leadership, it's all your fault because you didn't input the right stuff so that they become that dynamic person you want them to be. When we talk to a lot of people in poverty, well, I don't want to leave my kids all my money. When you're thinking about being middle class, wealthy, what's going to be my legacy? I want to leave my kids this $2-3 million, and they build it to $10 million, and then their kids build it to $30 million. Your family has a legacy now. You know, versus, well, how am I going to pay for your funeral? And it's hard to get people to grasp the magnitude of these simple words based on how you're going to go about doing business. The driving forces. When you're in poverty, survival, relationship, and entertainment. Middle class, it's about work achievement. When you're rich and wealthy, it's about financial, political, and social connections. Listen at those differences. Poverty, survival, and we think about relationship and entertainment. Well, when you think about it, everybody wants to be funny and wants to be the life of the party. And, you know, that's always been weird to me because, you know, some instances I wouldn't fit in certain situations because I think differently. But that's important. And in the book, Bridges Out of Poverty, it talks about men. The only thing they have in poverty is who can fight the best, who can beat who up. That's how they get their honor, is by fighting. Now that's more like the caveman days, you know. But in reality, when you start talking to middle class, it's like how much money I can earn, what's my greatness at work, what are my achievements. You know, those are big differences. You got to start utilizing your mind versus your muscles. It's not about fighting. You know, it's about accumulating wealth. And that's our objective today, is to learn creative ways to accumulate wealth. Now, as I was talking earlier to Hannah, and it's like a lot of questions came, well, how's he going to teach us to be a millionaire if he's not a millionaire? You don't know what I am.
Yeah.
I have not confessed to any of you what I have. I confess to you the number of assets that I have. And, you know, we'll get into more later, but if I can teach you how to become a millionaire, then how do I know how to become a millionaire? Think about it, chew on it for a minute. But that's the reality. How do I know? Did I just read a book to get all this stuff out of? And I'm so passionate about sharing, and I want everybody to know the goodness of being disciplined and having a goal and setting your standards and marching toward it? I don't get this passion just because I read a great book, people. I get this passion because I set goals, I achieved my goals, and I'm achieving even more now. So that's where it comes from. Now, the day that you're born, you're destined for greatness. We all are. You're born with a clean slate. You go left, poverty, disparity, lack of money. You go right, prosperity, money, all the things you want, everything you want. We make these choices. We make these choices. For instance, if you're sitting here and you decide, well, I'm just going to keep spending the way I spend, and forget what he said. It requires discipline. I don't want to control myself. I just want to be who I am. This is how God made you. God also gave you a beautiful brain. God also gave you people to send you signals when you need to make a change in your life. Yes. That is where we are, is we're not going to listen. And then, well, I'm not that smart. Well, you're smart enough to perfect something. You're interested in something that you're good at. Now, it's not about how smart you are academically, how smart you are with common sense, how smart you are with where you understand that change is good. We resist change. We want things to stay the same. We don't want to grow. And if you look across our country and you see the jobs are going away, but people don't want to go back to school to learn about computers, to learn the jobs that are vacant out there. We don't have people to fill them because people are interested in education. You have to be interested, you have to be engaged, and you got to plug yourself in to the 21st century. Now, I was driving up here yesterday, and I was listening to a guy called Jim Rohn, and he was talking about the laws of wealth. I'm like, oh my gosh. Things are just put in your face when you're thinking about something. It comes to you. You start listening to stuff, and it gives you messages. So I was like, wouldn't this be great? You don't have this on your slide, but I added it this morning because I thought it was just so phenomenal. The laws of wealth, the laws of nature, the laws of gravity. If you jump off a building, you're going to fall and hit the ground because of gravity. So the laws of wealth, this says, he that wishes to be the greatest must find a way to serve the many. That's from the Bible. To serve the many. So, and I want to use an example. If we look at Lee G's place up here. Now, all the older people and myself included, when we grew up, how many restaurants opened where Lee G's is? But it was a lot of them that opened, but how many were able to stay open? The greatest has to serve the many. He's serving everybody. Now another one from Earl Nightingale says, our rewards in life will always be in the exact proportion to our contribution or our service to society. There's a common theme here. Service. Serving. Now, John Kennedy said, it's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Don't ask, what are they going to do for me? You ask, what can I create that's going to benefit the many and also help my country become prosperous? You don't ask people to help you. You ask, what can I do? I got to keep sacrificing. I can't get discouraged. I have to keep going because this is my purpose. And I'm here to serve you in whatever capacity you need me in. Not, I'm going to come here and try to make $1 million off of you. I'm going to serve you and $1 million is going to come. It's that simple. We got to change money thoughts. What are we taught? Well, you just spend everything you got. As the old saying goes, you spend on what you want and you borrow for what you need. Okay. Now, that's the saying. You spend on what you want, and then when it comes time for your light bill, you go borrow your money and you keep borrowing. And if you know enough people, you can borrow and not pay them back and be okay. But eventually it's going to catch up with you. So just understand that. Money is used to have fun, to invest, and to give away. Think about it. Have fun, we know how to do that. But now we got to master the invest and we have to master the giveaway. One of the things they taught us in the Air Force, in order to go into the top echelon of the enlisted rank, you got to embrace 3 things. You got to be great at your job. You have to serve in the community. And then, let's see, you got to be great at your job. It's been so long. You got to serve in the community. And I'll think of it in a minute. Good Lord, I forgot. But anyway, the service part was the issue. When you serve in the community and you start looking at the other one is education. You got to be involved in education, making yourself better. But when you look at it, when you go out and you volunteer at a school or you volunteer to be over something, you're giving back to the greater good. What successful person do you know who do not get involved in the community? What success? It's a pillar of success. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all of them are involved. These are billionaires in the community. They're giving back, they're helping people, but they're also educated, and they're also doing a great job at what they're doing. So remember that. You've got to give back to the community. So another discussion I had with my mom last night about men being involved in the community. You know, she's like, we just couldn't get the guys to come step up to go out and be mentors and lead these young men. But why not? They're not leaders. They're not looking for prosperity. I don't know the answer. Retirement, and you can work this many years and you're going to get this fat retirement and your life is going to be good. Now what do they say? You need to put your money in a 401k and grow it yourself. These are very, very huge differences. And unfortunately, people are still hanging on to, well, I'm going to get my retirement. Or they're so short-sighted, they're not even thinking about when they get 65, 70 years old. If you don't think about it today and take the necessary steps to ensure that your success tomorrow, you pay the price tomorrow because it's not going to be there. I don't know about you, but you need to visualize what kind of life do you want to live at 65 and 70. Do you still want to be struggling? Or do you want to be in a lap of luxury, going in exotic vacations and things of that nature? My wife's grandma, she retired probably at 50 or 60, but she lived to 90-something years old. But the fascinating thing with her is she went to China, she went to Europe, she went all over the place in her retirement. So, you know, that's how you do it. You have these bucket list things that you want to do, and if you have to work and you haven't been able to do it, but you save and have the money necessary to do it once you retire, then you go and do those things, you know, enjoy. Sit around worried and stressed out about different stuff. While the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Simple. The rich invest and the poor spend. That simple. Politicians can say, well, we need to increase the wages, we need to do this. You can increase the wages, we're still going to have the same phenomenon. The rich are going to get richer and the poor are going to continue to get poorer. And that's going to happen because of our mentality. We don't understand that I need to take care of business right now and invest so that tomorrow I'm good. But we're all fooled like it's the business's fault. And we talked about if you're not making enough money, create more value in yourself so that you can demand more money. Whether you need to go to trade school, go to college, go and volunteer, you need to create more value in yourself to earn more and demand more. If I'm just a common laborer, how many people do you know that are just common labor, have no specialized skill? Millions of them. Millions. You want to separate yourself from the pack. You go learn how to work on computers, or you go and learn how to work on air conditioners, and you grow and you have the power. That's the difference. So don't be fooled when the politicians say the poor are getting poor. Just like during the recession, their comments are, we see the rich are still getting much, much more richer, and the poor are getting much, much more poor. Why? It's the psychology of the people who are thinking about or who are working today. I want to have a good time. I want to show out for my boys. I got my nice cars with some 24-inch rims on it, and it's bouncing down the street. You look great for the short term, but what does it mean for you? It means nothing. If you ugly, you still ugly. You know, it ain't going to get you no date because they don't like how you look. You know, so just think about it. You spend your money, you waste your money to impress everybody. Then at the middle and at the end of the night, when you lay down in bed, the room is dark, nobody's there, you worry about paying your bills. That's a disconnect. That's a disconnect. So just think about it. Oh goodness, it stopped on us.
Do that one card. Popped up. Right corner.
This is the right corner.
Right corner.
Now, dream big. Well, I don't want to think I can do all this. Dream big.
That's right.
Big. And spend your life trying to achieve that dream. When I say dream big, you dream, I want to have a multinational corporation and I want to do it in 10 years and all this. And then you start the work. You start the journey where you're at and you start educating yourself and preparing yourself to have that corporation. You got to dream big. When you dream, well, I just want to get a job. Well, what do you want? What do you want to do? I just want a job. Listen to the conversation. Listen to what you say. I just want a job. When I retired from the military, I said, I want to get a job. I want to get a job in the private sector. And I want to see how my leadership and management skills transition over to the private sector. That was what I wanted to do. I didn't just say, I just need to get a job. I'll take anything. I was very specific what I wanted. And I learned that, hey, maybe what I learned in the government wasn't a bad thing because we knew how to lead, we knew how to manage things, and we knew how to take care of our people. So what I took from that experience is, well, maybe I don't want to work in corporate America. I just do my own thing, you know, because it wasn't for me. I didn't like it. So here I am, doing my own thing. But you got to have a purpose. If you say, I'm going to go work at McDonald's and flip burgers, why? Why are you going to do it? Well, that's all I can get. That's bogus. You go into McDonald's, you flip burgers, and you pay attention. You pay attention to the manager. You pay attention to the cashier. You pay attention to the owner of that franchise. Why? Because you want to be that owner someday. And you learn right now, if I flip this burger like this, and I can train my people later how to do it expertly. You learn right now, if I figure out how to talk to the customers and make them come back just to have a conversation with me, when you become that owner, they will flock to your facility because you're going to make sure your people are hired to do the right thing. This is why there's a purpose for everything you do. I truly believe if you have hard times in your life, that hard time is to prepare you for something bigger and better. You got to keep your eyes open, you got to look for the opportunity, and you got to jump on it when it comes. Don't just get a job and say, I just want a job. That is pretty lame to me. It's lame. But people are in the survival mode, and that's what they do, and they're miserable. They don't like the job. They're stressed out. They come home and take it out on their family, and everything is miserable. You figure out who you are, what you want to do, and what you love to do, and you strike out to go do it. Don't sit idle and say, I'll just get a job. But no. Now, dream big, you got to change your vocabulary. You got to change how you talk. I'm a very optimistic person. I don't meet bad people. You know, they do me wrong. Oh, well, you didn't pay my rent. You told me you were going to pay it. You're 3 months behind. You lied to me, but I did the right thing. I allowed you and your family to stay here, and now I'm going to evict you. And once I evict you, I'm going to lose $2,000, $3,000. But when you're talking about overall wealth and this and that, I'll lose $2,000 or $3,000 to gain $3 or $4 million later. That's okay. But you're going to pay the price. At some point, this is going to catch up with you. And when you really need somebody to be by your side, nobody's going to be there. These are the things that people don't think about because they're so short-sighted and want to look at it from a short-term perspective, but everything is really long-term. There are consequences to every decision you make, everything you do, there are consequences. So think logically up front, and you don't have to worry about it later. In order to become wealthy, you got to look at things not as they are, but as they should be. If there's a problem on the line when you're working at McDonald's or wherever you are, you know, how should it be? What can you create to make it simple? What can you create? How can you make it better? Don't just talk about it and complain. Anybody can talk and complain. Solve it. How can you solve it? You get in the business of solving problems. And then if you start solving problems, then your problems become issues for you to solve. You don't stress out and get anxiety and freak out. You sit back, what can I do? How can I fix this? That's the way a man is. I know a lot of women, I just want to cry about it. I don't want to solve it. I just want to cry. But we want to fix it. We are going to fix it. Whatever problem you bring to us, we're going to start thinking right away, how can I fix it? You take that mentality and you put it on problems at work, problems everywhere, and you solve them. Don't freak out and go crazy and do all this stuff. You take a measured approach and you solve the problem. Think big. Dream big. You don't have big dreams, you don't have big thoughts, you can't ever become wealthy. Because you're only thinking, I just got to survive, I just got to pay the bills. That's all I want to do is pay the bills. Well, come on, people. profits over earned income.
That's true.
When you're focused on dividends and passive income, and for all you who weren't here, passive income is money that comes to you because you made a great investment. So that could be dividends, that could be money from rent, money from your business, anything. But you're going to get this passive income just because you're disciplined, not because you're smarter. It's because you are disciplined. Smartness has nothing to do with wealth. There's a lot of people that don't even have, Henry Ford didn't even have a high school education. Built a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
There you go.
What's his legacy? His family's still living off his money. What do we say? Oh, well, I ain't going to leave my money. Henry Ford left millions. And his family grew them to billions. The next generation probably going to grow them to trillions. Think about it. Think about it. What can you do? What is your life strategy? You got young people out here. What's your life strategy? You know, strategy is about shaping the future and is a human attempt to get, well, whatever they desire. What is your strategy? When you strike out in life, you should have a plan. Do I want a job or a career? What's the difference between a job and a career? Huge! A career, you got insurance, you got a certain kind of surety. A job, they come over there and kick you out right now and fire you. You have no stability, no nothing. But I just want a job. And you just get a job, and then you treat it like crap, and you keep going to these jobs versus stepping back from the situation. Who am I? What do I want to do? What makes me happy? And where do I want to work? For what reason? There should always be a reason. As I stated earlier, if I go to McDonald's, I'm going because I want to be the owner. But I want to learn at ground level and work my way up. So when I have a restaurant, I know everything that's going on. Now, do I want to be married or be single? Some people never want to get married. But if you're going to get married, don't get married because, oh, she's so beautiful. Does she have good credit? Is she saving? And what's her future goals and ambition? I don't care how good you look, but if you're crazy, I can't do it. That's reality, guys. That's the reality. If you get locked down with someone who's not going to synchronize with you, I've been divorced twice. That's what happens. You lose all your furniture, you lose everything, and you got to start over again. But if you go in with a conscious thought and you understand that if I'm going to be married, well, I need to learn how to be a great man first. Like I told my son, you get your apartment because you're going to have a family someday, and you stand with your mom and moving out and moving in with a wife is not going to work. You need to learn how to pay bills. You need to learn how to take care of the house. You need to learn all this stuff before you need it. So he has an apartment and he's happy. But if he doesn't learn that right now, later on, he's going to meet this fabulous young lady who's got her stuff together, and he's paying half his bills, and he's not doing the right thing by the house, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know. So that's where you need to realize that if I'm going to plan to be married someday, you know, I need to prepare. Everything you do needs to have a plan. You need to know why I'm doing this and where I intend to go with it. If you don't, then you're just going to quit. No. When you start a business or you start investing, you understand where you're trying to go, and then you hang through the tough times. When the market crashes, you keep it there. You hang in there because it's coming back. That's the history of the market. It always comes back. So just hang in there. Kids versus no kids. If I'm going to have kids, how do I want my kids to be? most people, I just need to be a provider. No. If you're going to be a great parent, you need to be a provider and a great person that your kids can watch and learn who they want to become. If your kids can't figure out who they want to become by watching their parents, you've missed the boat. You've screwed it up. You should be everything that you want your kids to be. You can't raise them to be crazy and expect them to be sane later, because all you show them is craziness. So the biggest thing that anybody can do is get their emotions in check. When you have a problem and you feel yourself getting mad, zip it up, walk away. Because when you have a problem, you get mad, what do? Well, I'll go get my pistol and I'll solve it. You know, I bought me a pistol for Christmas, and I haven't shot it yet. But there was a tenant once, had the carpet full of fleas and dog pee and dog poop and you name it. Now, if she had confronted me, that'd probably been the first time I used my pistol, because that was so mad. I believed I would have hurt her. So you understand, when you get mad, just zip it up, walk away. Boring, but you do what's right, because what you feel ain't always right. So just think about that. Begin with the end in mind. Now, I love my wife to death, but one thing she told me is the day she started work, she was planning her retirement. I was like, that is fascinating. But the day because of her grandmother traveling around the world and doing the things she's doing, she started investing right away as soon as she got her first paycheck. So when you think about when you're going to get married, these are things to consider. I knew before I met her that I wanted to become a millionaire, and I wanted to do real estate, and I wanted to do all these things. I knew. But when you have these roadblocks, relationships where they just want to be emotional and want you to look at them every day and say nice goo-goo things to them, that doesn't work. But when you meet somebody like her, I begin with the end in mind. I began working so that I can retire. So when you get the right spouse, you're doing this, accumulating the assets and doing all this, and she's saving, investing. That's powerful. That's powerful. The union is powerful. Not, well, you got your money, I got mine, and you do what you're doing, and I do what I'm doing, and I'm not going to share mine, and I'm not going to share. You put those assets together, and you put your mind together, and you figure out where you want to go, and you do it. You do it. You don't get emotional, I don't have money this month. You do it. Take emotions out. So, you got to conceive goals. If you want to start a business, you got to conceive goals. And there is no right time to do it, just do it. You got to do it, you know, and without goals, you're not going anywhere. Without having morals and conviction of who you are, you do anything. But when you know who you are, then there's a certain path that you won't even begin to even think about. When you have these goals and you know that, hey, this is going to happen because I have my dreams and I set the goals to achieve it. Visualize what you want. When you sit around, you visualize where you want to be in 20 years. You ask people, well, I don't know. And I'm like, you don't know? I don't know. You know, what do you like? I don't know. Where do you want to go? I don't know. They haven't put any thought into their lives. They just live. Live for the moment. You just keep living and you keep doing these things. And you don't know where it's taking you. You got to slow down and you got to stop. You got to write things down. You got to visualize where you want to be. And if you got to create a picture of a nice big house, 5,000 square feet, and you visualize a maid cleaning it for you, then you put that right there so you can see it every day, and your desire will become hotter and hotter, and you just you have to get that house. When you know you have to get that house, then you got to do some things to earn that house. That is your motivation. You put it there and you see it every day, and you tell yourself every day, I'm going to get it. And one day you're going to be going off onto a road that you've never been down. There's your house.
But let me ask you this. Well, I did write mine down. Within what I want to accomplish within 5 years in a toddler. My accomplished main goal was to reach out to the homeless, big people in the community. I visualized it in 5 years because I wrote that down. And it's going to be done.
And you're already doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
You know, my mom says she talks to you almost every day, and she's happy to talk to you, you know. But that's what I'm talking about. My vision when I retire from the military was to do real estate so I don't have to work, and then go out and share with people how to do it, how to grow wealth, and how to become phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I got the real estate. What am I doing now? I'm sharing.
You should.
I'm sharing. You know, if somebody wanted to understand, well, let me back it up. What happens is we see the superstars on TV and we think it's easy.
It ain't.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's frustrating. You get tired. But you have your goal. And I shared with you guys, one of my houses, the lady had the house, and I don't think she had running water for the entire time she was there. And when I came there, had evicted her, the whole toilet was filled to the top with poop. Now you know, a sane person would have just walked away and be like, forget this house, they can have it. But I remembered my dreams. I remembered my goals. That kept me going in a tough situation because I'm too hard-headed to say I'm not going to achieve it. I believe I'm going to achieve it, and I have. But you're going to encounter stuff like that. You got to weather the storm. I had the opportunity yesterday to show a couple one of my houses that they were interested in buying, and they were sharing with me. They were sharing with me some of the tough things they've endured in rental property and rehabbing houses. It's the same thing. She's like, we bought this trailer and, I just want to drive by and throw a fire into it to get the insurance money. I'm like, I feel the same way about this house you're looking at because it's been nothing but a headache. But you encounter them headaches, and for me, it's like, well, I'm just not going to rent it, or I'm just not going to do this. But then it's like, well, I put all my money in this house. I got to try and get it out.
Yeah.
So you have those tough times. You just got to just keep going, and you'll get through it. You're going to achieve your goal. Like I said, a lot of people appreciate it already. And, I just personally want to thank you just for calling and checking in on my mom because she likes it.
Oh, she enjoyed it.
Yeah. So now, how to set goals? Basically, you need to set goals 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, whatever increment you want. Don't overwhelm yourself. You understand that if I got this big dream and goal sitting here, well then I need to start crawling before I learn to walk. You're going to make mistakes. As I stated before, the house is beautiful. Did I know all the electrical wires had been stolen out of there for the copper? No. So immediately I'm frustrated. So each night I got off work, I had to go and crawl up in the attic to rewire. I had to. Because I just spent my money on this house. And that taught me a lesson. Looks can be deceiving. Do your due diligence. Look in the attic. Look for the wire. Look for all these things. And then, oh my gosh, we had a hard rain, and guess what? The house flooded. I'm just too through now. So I have to go dig trenches and try and do a drainage system, and it's still frustrating because it still floods. So, but you'll have that one. Make sure you review your goals and you remind yourself often, because as you're out here dealing with society, people are going to talk you out of stuff. People are going to be negative. People are going to tell you you can't do it. People are going to tell you you're crazy for saving all your money. As I told people before, if you wanted to date Malcolm Golson, I ain't taking you to dinner. You coming over to my house and I'm going to cook you a nice piece of chicken for $2.50 and make you some macaroni and cook you some rice.
Oh,
and that's how I was. But I had to change, because 2 divorces, something's not right here. So I had to change and okay, I'll take you out to dinner now, because the other way didn't work too well, So, and you change along the way because I believe that I should save everything and this is a waste of money and you just do something just because. As I told you guys, women are emotional, so we can't be too practical with women, because sometimes you just got to do stuff you know is crazy, but you just do it because you love it. And
right.
Now, discipline. You can't be everything to everybody. Be who you are and be proud of who you are. I'm cheap and I'm proud of it.
Yes.
It's just the way it is. I'm proud of it. Why? I'm proud of it because it's got me a lot of what I want, because I was cheap and saved money when it came time.
Or your charge, your battery going low.
In the phone?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. It's in that bag there in the front pocket. But, be proud of who you are. You are the only person that can make you happy. Nobody else can make you happy. When you're doing what you're doing, when you're living on purpose, life is going to be great for you. It's just that simple. Now, persistent. As I stated before, things are going to get hard.
Ooh, they cut you off.
But things are going to get hard, and you're going to have to sometimes do things hard. Because if you're going to be great, you got to weather the storm. As I mentioned earlier, you have to learn the lesson that's meant to be taught. Persistent. So just stick to it. And you see people, and I had this lady that I was going to become business partners with, and she was all over the place. I mean, all over the place. Today, we were going to do business at her house. Tomorrow, I saw this wonderful office that we needed. The next day, you need to get a desk because clients are going to come up here. All over the place. And I stood there because I thought it was a phenomenal idea. She did credit repair. I would do the finances. So you come to us. She has the credit, which a lot of people have issues with credit. And I was going to teach them how to invest and do other things. But I could never get the lock in and the commitment. So after my surgery, since I couldn't see good anymore, I decided it wasn't worth my time, and I left. But you got to surround yourself with extraordinary people. When you think that I'm going to be this awesome, great person, but you hang around with the lowest scoundrels in the community, you can't be. You can't have them both. You can't have it both ways. You decide what you're going to do and stay committed. No matter who talks about you, stay committed. Stay committed to who you are, and you'll never regret it. Enthusiasm. If you're going to have a business, be excited. When people walk in, they like that. When people ask me, I'm doing great. Lovely. And people are usually like taken back because nobody ever said, oh, I'm miserable, my back hurting. No, I'm doing great. Enthusiasm recharges your back. Don't be a negative Nancy. Don't share. You know, you need to go out and share with people. Share the goodness. A lot of people only hear negativity. Their parents were negative. They fought all the time. They didn't. They need your radiant personality to come out. Well, this is just how God made it. Well, God gave you that brain, like I told you earlier. Change it. If you don't have the right disposition, change it. If you walk around with your lips poked out, everybody sees it. Everybody feels your personality. And everybody avoids you. You want to be pleasant, you want to be approachable, and you want to be a magnificent person. Same, that's a good one. But I can walk around and I can look in people's eyes and look at their body language, and you know right away. I don't know, you need to talk to me. But it's, you know, and that happens because we feel each other's vibes. And when you feel a person's vibe, you don't know why you run the other way. You just do. Because your subconscious mind is telling you, alert, 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 you need to go. And you go. So, you know, force yourself to do some things. To have a Savior. Now, we're about to get into the meat here. I gave you what's required up here, how you need to think, and how the mentality needs to be. Now, what are the numbers? Well, first of all, have a Savior. If you have debt, you can't think of no great dreams you have. All you can think of is the next bill collector who's going to call your phone. That's all you can think of. You need to put all that stuff down, get it right, so that you can have mental clarity. And when you have mental clarity, then you start thinking big. Then you start thinking about, well, I want to start a business. I want to do real estate, or I want to become a professional motivational speaker. But when you're clouded with debt and all this stuff's coming at you, you can't think about nothing that grand. All you think about is the next person to call and how I'm going to promise them to send them $20, and then you don't send it. It's a cycle that keeps going and going and going. I've seen people file bankruptcy, and then they get out of bankruptcy and they have to file again because they didn't change their habits. What are your habits? Once again, you sit down and you write things down. You learn yourself. You learn what makes you excited. And this is weird, but when I got my first divorce, I asked myself, what makes me excited? And you know what it was? As simple as opening a mutual fund and starting investigating. Once I did that, I was done, and life was good. There's like a shortage of something in the thing that goes hooking the phone.
I know, because I don't look like a charge.
Well, there's one in the connection. What? Put that. Can you put the cord up top, Irvin, so it doesn't move?
I saw it.
I don't know.
Now, when people start saying, I don't have enough money to invest. I'm too broke. Now, the question is, how did I get that from? The question is, do you get earned income tax credit? You know, most people do. Now, you get $8,000, $9,000 every year in taxes, and within 30 days, you spend it. Now just imagine, just visualize, if I took $5,000 of that $8,000, $9,000 and I invested that $5,000 for 20 years. Discipline, discipline, discipline. If I invested that $5,000 for 20 years, I will have invested $100,000. Now, that $100,000 is going to be $256,000. at the end of 20 years, if you invested based on the history of the stock market, getting you 9-10% interest, and the compounding interest, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but discipline causes your money to work for you. Remember, when you're in poverty, what do? You spend it. When you're in the middle class, you manage it. When you're in the wealthy side, you invest it. So why not do some of the wealthy stuff right now, invest it so your money can work for you. You put in $100,000, I'm going to give you over double your money, $256,000. Y'all can sit here and say, well, I don't know. I know. Trust me. It works over a long period of time. Now, if you're 20 and you invest that $5,000 a year, and now you're 45, you're not ready to retire, you get $256,000, I think is what it says.
56.
Now you take that $256,000 and you leave it in the account and never add another dollar to it. You're going to have over $2 million by the time you're 65. Now we're talking power here. We're talking power when we give our power away because we spend everything we got so that you think that we have greatness within. But when you have greatness within, I don't want you to think because then you're going to want to borrow something. So what do people do? You don't know they're rich. You don't know they have all this because it's a mentality. This is just who I am. I think everybody should be like this. And don't go around bragging to your boys about how much money you got. One of them might hit you in the head. But when people, and I remember that, guys go get paid, and they'll get about $51 bill and wrap it with 220s.
Did that.
So I want you to think that I got a whole wad of 20s.
Yes, sir.
I won't pull it out in this big old wad, and you're going to be impressed.
Uh-huh.
But that's only for show. Now, when a person has money, you're not going to know that they have it. Because it's an investment, it's in the bank, and they're not going to have $3,000 cash on them. They're going to have a debit card, a credit card, and maybe $20 in the pocket just because of incidentals. Get rid of the mindset that I can't do it. Here's an illustration. You can be making $15,000 a year, and you can still end up a multi-millionaire by 65. Discipline. Discipline, discipline. Now, another scenario. You want to be a millionaire by the time you retire. At the age of 20, you start investing $2 a day, $61 a year, $61 a month, $730 a year. Start doing that, Dre. Start doing it. Start doing it in a 401k or anything. Need help, call me, but y'all need to start doing it because it's so much easier when you get started at 20 versus what you need at 40. Oops. When you're 40, you're going to need $20 a day, 21 pretty much, $625 a month, $7,500 a year to get to that milestone. You can make $10 an hour at 20 and do $2 a day and just keep it rolling. That's easy. It's hard when you start getting 40 and got all these kids and responsibilities and you want me to do $7,500? And you're sitting here, you ain't got no kids, no responsibility, and this is easy. take advantage of your greatest gift ever is your age. Because if you don't take advantage of it now, it slips away. As my wife states, youth is wasted on the young. Yes.
Yeah, like you said, my son had my kid, I got my insurance when I was real young.
Mm-hmm.
And my kid was on me as a rider. They said it was 25. Then it came off of me. And I know that by me getting it in my life insurance that early, then my insurance man said, we can pay this life while you have life insurance, the rest of your life and got to pay no more money. I said, I got to pay no more money?
Mm-hmm.
What you talking about? And I got to continue to know. It's paid for life. There's a sock rate, it's paid for life, and I don't have to pay life insurance no more. No more.
That was because you were disciplined and diligent. Most people, well, I don't need this. I need this $20 now. You know, and that's what happens. Because we don't, when we talked about emergency fund, one of our investment classes, but if we don't create the emergency fund and we dive off into this stuff, then Murphy's Law is going to hit, kids get sick, something happens, you got to take your money out. You don't want to do that. You want to just leave it there until you're ready. And don't fool yourself, oh, I need my money. You don't need your money. Sacrifice.
That's an extra count.
Sacrifice, yes ma'am.
I'm sorry. I replenished all my 401k on meds.
Mhm.
I ended up, I had an asthma attack, I supervisor, lost my job, and with this condition
Well,
I'm working with.
There are different scenarios where you got to, and I'm not saying you can't. I made a blanket statement, but there's also, you know, when you have an emergency, when you got to do what you got to do, and you do it. But at least you had the money.
But how you bounce back?
You bounce back by just starting to add back to it. You know, and don't think it's impossible. You got to sit down and you got to read and you got to understand, okay, how can I cut corners and get this replenished? And you'll figure it out. But now it's overwhelming because you're thinking about all that went there. Start where you started before, $1. And over a period of time, you know, you get a big lump sum of money goes there. You know, you never know what's going to happen in the future, but you just start. You start replenishing it, and you're going to build it back up. You know, I'm an optimistic person, so if you think optimistic thoughts and you think you're going to do it, more likely you're going to do it. If you think you're not going to do it, and you don't even start it back up, then you won't ever do it. But if you start, then things are going to get better. Things are going to grow. And you're going to be adding more. And you're going to catch it up. You know, and that's just the way life is. If you don't do it, then it won't happen. So, let me skip a couple here. I want to talk to you guys about compounding, because this is very important. I should have had this first. What compounding interest is. Now, compounding interest, just imagine you put $1,000 into something. I got $1,200. You invest $1,200 into something, okay? And you get 10% interest. 10% is to make it easy. So on that first year, you get that 10% interest. They're going to give you what, $120. Okay? Now, when you invest, most people reinvest their dividends. So you reinvest it. So on year 2, you have another $1,200 that you add, but you got $1,320 because of the $120 interest. And if you go over 10% interest, you get $272. Every year that you have that, the interest you get rolls back into it, the money at the end of the year becomes bigger and bigger. And you think of it like this. This is the magic of investing. This is why when you're young, it is so powerful because of this compounding interest is happening, and you're not doing anything but just doing your daily stuff, and your money is working for you. Now, you can look at this like the illustration of a snowball. You start with a small amount. As it continues to roll down the hill, it's getting bigger, and bigger, and bigger, and bigger. That is what your money is doing. You continue to stay disciplined, you put the money in, and it keeps growing because of compounding interest. Now, I don't know about you, but I would rather my money to grow exponentially than to be sticking it in the mattress or to stick it in the bank and it does nothing. You put it in the bank, you get out almost put in because the interest is 0.02% or something. It's nothing.
Get back to nothing.
That's just a place for you to automatically invest in a mutual fund or something. But this is the power of it, people. If you want to become a person who's earning income, but you're profit driven and the profits are stacking up above your income, then the discipline required to put in $20 a month or a week is very easy when you think about where you're going to be. And if you have a figure, I can do $50 a month, go on the internet, type in future value calculator. The future value calculator will compute everything. If you say I'm 40 now and I want to retire at 65, I add this amount at this interest rate, what am I looking at? The future value calculator will compute that for you and forecast what you're going to have when you're 65. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know, but I don't do it to the bank, right? I don't do it because my daughter, she just turned 37. But $20 automatically come out of her account and go over to a savings. So I don't do this. She wouldn't do that to the bank. She do it some other that money should be going to a saving there, should. You know what I'm saying?
Usually when you get a mutual fund, you draft the money out of your bank account into the fund. They automatically do it.
Yeah,
You set it up.
but I guess it's set up that
But
way.
the bank has to be, and then sometimes your company will draft the money out of your paycheck and automatically send it there. So you just got to figure out what mutual fund you want, and then you go and you see whether or not they can get it out of your bank or out of your paycheck.
But it's coming out of her paycheck.
If the mutual fund she decides to get will only withdraw from the bank and her company won't send it to the mutual fund, then she has to get it automatically coming out to the bank, then the mutual fund take it out of the bank and put it in the mutual fund.
So what you're trying to say, you can't have an extra, like an extra account at the bank and have that set up.
Just for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what I'm trying to say, but I need to take it from the savings, like, no.
The mutual fund will automatically take it out of the savings for you.
And then,
Account, like I do.
then like mine, they take out, I have extra credit in the
Extra
bank.
credit account.
And every time a check comes, they take that out, I don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
But like, that's what I'm saying, they take it out. That's what I'm saying, they take $20 every month and go over in the savings.
Yeah.
They
But
automatically come out of her
But you
money.
gotta
That's
make,
different.
yeah, you gotta make
Extra
plans.
savings, it's extra savings.
A different way he talking about.
You
Mutual funds.
gotta make plans,
I got
for
to,
they draw it out
okay,
and put it in the mutual savings.
a mutual savings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I
you
can go
got
to,
to go tell your bank.
okay, you put in a mutual savings, instead of putting in a savings,
Right.
And you can take interest off.
well, this is the thing. Some banks have investments,
Yes,
mutual
sir.
funds and things,
Sure enough, do.
and you can get them to draft it right out of that savings account, right into that investment, and you're done.
okay, because last time you said something like that, I still didn't understand it. but-
Well, it's. Let me draw it like this. You got your work here, sends money to the bank, and then the bank will send money to your mutual fund.
Okay,
That's how it goes.
okay.
So,
Or either she can go, or she gets so much in the savings and draw it out and put it in.
but the thing that I want to emphasize, you know whether or not you're an emotional spender. If you're emotional, don't leave it to chance. Have them automatically do it. So it just happens, you forget about it, and pretty soon you got a pretty good nest egg
Yeah.
saved up because everything's happening without you having to do anything. When you throw yourself in it, well, I got this to do. I'll go spend this $50, but I'll put it back later, and later never comes.
Yeah.
And so you're continuing to cheat yourself out of the power that you have with the compounding interest.
But that's what she do.
Mhm.
That's what she do. She put it in there. Well, I need this here. I think I better get fit. I need $50. I'm coming shop.
Yeah.
She was saying that
Yeah.
you're right. So you right about that.
But in the mutual funds, you got the back end, which is the A shares. And what that means is you put your money in, we ain't gonna charge you nothing. But if you pull it out in a certain amount of time, we're gonna get you on the back end. Then you got the front end funds. We want you to pay half of what you invest every month for the first year. Then you ride on, and it all balances out. Just depends on what you want. And then you got the Class C, which is, they're a little more expensive than the no-load mutual funds, but that may be something that you want. You have to do your own studying and ask questions with people who know about it in order to make the right decision because the ability to not make a decision is not an option. You have to make a decision. Now, my philosophy is, I made it. If I lose money, I did it. You know, and what happens is you get these people that are selling stuff and they rope you into stuff and you get in there and you start realizing, well, I really don't want this because they're charging me way too much money, and then you lose your money because you're not feeling it. If you make that decision and you go on in there, you got to feel it. Now, no-load mutual fund. You go on the internet, you pull up Vanguard, Templeton, Pioneer, whatever company you choose, and the advantages of having a no-load, you got a professional person investing your money. The way the mutual fund works, here's the mutual fund, this right here, and now they're taking your money and they're putting it into the mutual fund. And then the mutual fund invests into General Electric, Microsoft, Southwest Airlines, whatever businesses they invest in, that's where your money goes. And how these businesses do will depend on how much money you get up here in the mutual fund. Now, when you buy individual stock, and if the stock crashes, you lose every drop of your money. In the mutual fund, because it's diversified, which means it has several different things, and some have bonds, some have stock, and have a combination of them all. But if one company fails, you'll see a little bit of drop, but not lose everything. So the diversification makes it a little more risk averse. It's not as risky as, say, if I were to go into an individual fund and put all my money in there and it's gone now. So that's the advantage of a mutual fund. And prior to mutual funds, only rich people could invest because it costed money. But now the everyday average Joe can become a millionaire through discipline, dedication, and determination. Everyday average person can do it. But we got to set our minds to it. We listen to all the wrong people, and that gets us in trouble. Now, if you have a mutual fund and you decide, hey, I have a life crisis right now, I have to get my money out. You call the mutual fund, say, hey, I want to redeem 100 shares, and the shares cost $2 a piece. You got $200. So the way it works is how much the shares cost versus how many you want, that's how much your money is going to be. Like I said, if it's $2 a share and you want to get 100 shares, then it's $200. So Dividends is when the company pays all the bills and pays the stock traders and all this stuff, what's left over. What's left over is what they give to you because you were disciplined and you kept your money there. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is your money working for you. This is power. You're not doing anything but continuing on with your set goals, and it's churning and it's working. Capital gains or capital losses, anytime you invest in an asset, with a mutual fund, and if you paid $10 for this, and you put in $1,000, and now all of a sudden it goes up to $20 a share, when you pull that out, now you have $2,000. When you do your taxes, your capital gain is $1,000. That's the money you got that you did nothing for, and you received it because you were disciplined and you had goals. So, capital gains and dividends, those are two words you hear a lot, and that's basically what they do. Now, we talked earlier about automatic investing. This is how, if you think you don't have enough, just do it this way. Have it taken out automatically. Automatically invest and build it up and let it go. You know, and it's called, when you do automatic investing, you got to be concerned about dollar cost averaging. And what dollar cost averaging is the average of what I paid for all the shares that I purchased. Now, this illustration here says that I realized I had $100 that I'm able to invest. Now, I send the same $100 every month, but in January, because the share price is $20, I'm only going to get 5 shares. So, I keep putting my $100 in February. Same thing. I only get 5 shares because it's $20. All of a sudden, in March, the price started decreasing on the shares to $18. When it goes down, then I'm going to get 5.5 shares. So if we look here, the lowest price, I kept my $100 going, and in October, it went down to $13. And oh my gosh, I bought a whopping 7, pretty much 8 shares. And then in November, $10, I bought 10 shares. And I'm going to get out $1,770 from my investment. Now, mind you, I invested for 1 whole year, which is $1,200. So because I bought and I kept buying, it wasn't to my advantage up here, but I committed to it, so I'm going to stick with it, and I'll let it go, let it go, let it go, and I was buying more shares, I didn't buy as many, but when it finally got down here to when I decided I was going to sell, it's based on your decision when you sell. That's why it's important you have an emergency fund, and now I want to sell because the price is right. The price is $25 a share, and I'm going to get $1,770. That's $570 more than what I put in. Now, in that right mind, someone to just hand me $570 because I was disciplined. That's the difference, people. Through this dollar cost averaging, you figure out what you paid for all this and what you can get, and you decide at this price point, I'm going to sell and take the profit, and I'll sell this, and then I'm going to go buy another asset. If I get all this money, then I'm going to take it from the stock, and I'm going to buy a rental property, or I'm going to invest in my business. You keep your money moving. You keep your money moving. And when you start investing in property and your income growing, then you start buying more, or you start increasing your volume of your business. It's all possible. You've got to take the first step. If you never take the first step, then you never realize the greatness and the power of being disciplined and investing. And this, y'all can look at that other illustration. So, we have talked about essentially you become wealthy by getting your mind right. And if you choose to, you can go the paper route and invest in mutual funds and stocks, or you can become an entrepreneur. Or you can do a little bit of both, like I told you guys, me and my wife are doing. I've been focused on the real estate and doing all that. She focuses on what she does, investing over 20, 30 years in the mutual fund. And you combine it, then it becomes so when you want to become an entrepreneur, you got to identify an opportunity. Remember what we said before, your greatness will come from the number of people that you're able to serve. Now, what opportunities are there? I know as a guy who's doing rental properties that more than likely I can't invest in property in Ottawaville. Why? Because the population. There's way more people in Montgomery that could rent a house at a higher price, and who are trying to pay? Y'all good. So you make those determinations based on the opportunity. Now, you got to follow your passion. Don't open a business just because you think it's going to make you money. You got to be passionate about it. And you go in, you got to do your homework, but you have passion in that you're going to do it. If you have that passion gets you through the hard time. You know, when things are rough, passion takes you through it. Now, develop a concept. You got to acquire the necessary resources. What kind of money is going to be involved? You know, can you do it? And that goes, what that gets to is, you got to create a business plan. When you're going to start a business, you create a business plan. You want to eliminate all the guesswork, at least as much guesswork as possible. When I did my business plan for real estate, you got to state what you want to do, you know, what's your summary. You got to be able to say, what kind of service are you going to provide? You know, in my mind, I wanted to provide, basically what I wanted to provide is the underserved community with a nice, clean house. And that's what I wanted to do. And then you got to look at the market. Who are your competitors? You got apartment complexes everywhere. You got this and that. What's going to separate you from them? What is your market advantage? Well, my market advantage was, I know how to treat people. You know, I treat you like a civilized, give you a break, but also bring the hammer down when it needs to be. But people, and you wouldn't believe the amount of people that are my tenants who they've never been treated like a human being. They're always treated, you don't pay rent, you got to go. Just nasty. But when you treat them like a human being, then real estate becomes easier because they're not going to move. Nobody's going to treat them like Malcolm treated. So you treat people with dignity and respect, and they will keep coming to your establishment, and you keep serving them. You treat people with dignity and respect, they will keep living in your apartment. And I have tenants that move from one unit to the next unit. They move from this town to this town. Wherever I have houses, they don't want a landlord. I'm it.
That's good.
That's good. That's what you're shooting for. But you got to be that person who understand how to separate yourself from everybody else. If you're going to open a store in Prattville, what is going to be your ability to outshine Walmart and Target and all them? What specialty are you going to bring to make people want to come to your store? You got to figure it out. Like I was talking to my mom, I guess me and my mom had a, because she had that COPD, she started coughing and stuff. So we had her talking to about midnight because she can't be quiet in her nature. But we were talking about if you have a lawn service and you got the necessary help to help you manage and set up a good process, where some people would be. But we think of a business like a job. I can do all this, I'm going to do all, but what if you hire some people to do it and you manage the books and you did all, well, I don't want to give them up. You got to spend a little to get a lot. You have to spend a little. I would go into my rental houses and put the little stick down tile and all this, and then about 3 months they're coming up. They're calling me. I'm having to go out there and put them back down. Because when you do rental property, they don't take care of stuff. You got to rehab it so that it can withstand their pressures. So, what did I have? I had to spend money on putting tile in versus me putting down the stick stuff. So I had to pay these guys a little extra, but as long as you mop it, I don't have to be bothered with it. That's where you want to go. You learn as you go. If you start opening a business today, be aware of, well, I keep getting called out here about this stuff. What can I do so I'm not called anymore? Because in Rich Dad Poor Dad, they said the objective of having a business is so you can be lazy. Imagine that. So you can be lazy. You've been taught all your life you got to work hard. But when you start working your brain and creating with your brain, you don't have to do the physical labor. You do the mental work.
Somebody have to do the physical labor.
Yeah, you do the mental work, and that's where we need to go on the mental side and forget all the stuff I can do. When you're young and trying to come up, you worry about what you can do in order to make that money, in order to start getting those profits and dividends and things. But once you get there, your question is, I don't want to have to work this hard. How can I not work this hard? How many people do I need to hire? If you don't know, get a professional to come in and help you. Just like with this book. Since I had my surgery, the goal was to sit down and do all the editing and all this stuff after my surgery. Well, I didn't plan on having an issue with my eyesight, because you have a stroke and it affects your eyesight. Now I can't really see it. So from November 2015, weeks ago, I thought about when I was going to get to it. What if I had a brilliant thought in November 2015? Just send it off to somebody and let them edit it. Yeah, it costs me some money, but it's done. Yeah. And you got to spend that money in order to make money later. But if you don't ever save and you hang around in that party category where you spend everything you get, then you can never do that because you don't have it to do it. So understand that you got to spend. When you open a business, you got to spend. And you young guys in here, the opportunities are out there. It's so simple as just getting on the internet and starting up a site, or doing this, or doing that. It's not very hard these days. You just got to be creative. The mindset that we all is you go get a job, you work 50 years, 40, 50 years, and then you retire. But in the middle, when you can use your mind to create and build wealth, that's what you do. You're never going to get rich working for somebody else.
No, sir.
They will achieve their dream, but you won't even come close to achieving your dream. So remember that. Now, management plan. Who's going to run the business? you need to understand that maybe I need to go to some leadership classes. If you're going to run your own business, I need to understand people. I need to learn how to do the books. I need to learn all this stuff. Don't think it's going to automatically come to you because you have a brilliant idea. If you need help, you need to bring in help until you learn it and then you let the help go. But you got to be smart. People fail at business because they don't plan. When you write your business plan, everything you can conceive needs to be in that business plan. Who's your target audience? Well, I don't know. Well, who are you going to advertise to?
True.
I don't know. So you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know how much money you expect to make. You know, you just need to plan all that stuff out today, how much money is going to be needed, and tomorrow how much money you can make. And then you work the plan. But you got to plan. You got to have a business plan. You're going to start anything. What if you go on Facebook? Create something on Facebook. A lot of people buy on Facebook. Facebook has a lot of power. But the difference is, once again, the poverty use Facebook for junk. Talk about people. Do this, do that. The middle class use it for information. The wealth use it to grow money. That's the difference. It's out there for you to use it to grow money, but all you want to do is gossip. Do this and do that. Yeah, look at the power. I could sit here and do Facebook Live and people around the world can see what I'm doing in here. That is power. But what does the average person think? Oh, I just don't want that because there's good information that comes out on it, but there's also crazy people, and you got to separate. When they start doing crazy stuff, I hit that little thing over there and say, unfollow, I never see anything else they say.
But you know they got something going on now through the government.
But you know it's a scam, so
Yeah, it's a scam.
yeah.
And then this girl said, okay, won't you try it? And then when she found out that the lady got all her information and tried to do something with information, she got the money. But they end up getting the money. The white lady didn't get the
But
money.
if you have the mentality that you're going to grow wealth and you're going to do all these things, you're not paying attention to that. That's foolishness. Because you're looking at where am I going to go, not necessarily what they're doing down here.
Yeah.
I'm not paying attention to that. I don't care. Because I'm not going to give you my information. I'm not going to give you nothing. Because if it was reputable, then I would see your sign somewhere and go to your office and do it that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be convinced that you're going to help me become a millionaire on Facebook. You can't become a millionaire instantly unless you're O.J. Howard with 6'6", run a 4.5 40, can catch a football and can block.
Yeah.
How many people are down here 6'6", 240 pounds? If they're 6'6", they're probably about 400 pounds and can't run. But he's a gifted person.
Yeah.
And when you're gifted, those things come to you.
Yeah.
The average person, we're going to have to go through the slush step by step and do it step by step. And this is why I want to do these classes, because if you're not informed, then you can't even make the first step. You know, when people start making the first step, then you understand, then you get excited and want to take the second one, and after about the third one, you start running full speed. Because you got to test it out, test the water out, and see that it's not going to drown you. You just keep taking that step, and pretty soon, you're bigger than you ever imagined. YouTube. You know, if you have some great information, you get your channel, and then people start advertising after so many people start coming to your channel, voila, you're done. You're rich. So take advantage of this time. Young people, I'm looking at you. Take advantage of this time. Old people, I'm looking at you. Get engaged, get involved, and be a part of this evolution. Don't let 90% of the money to be owned by 10% of the people. You want to become a part of that 10%. And you become a part of that 10% by being different. You become a part of that 10% by being committed and disciplined to the goals you've set for yourself. You don't become a part of the 10% by going out and just doing whatever you feel like doing today. It's not about emotions. It's about the plan. It's about the plan. If it don't fit in your plan, don't do it. If she ain't fitting into your plan, then you just cry for 2 or 3 days. You know, everything we have emotions to, we blow it up. Money, people, it always fails. But when you look at the practicality of how can I do this, you can write a book. How many people got a story to tell? I used to go out and volunteer at the drug rehab facility. I'm like, those guys probably have a #1 bestseller in their head of their life and their struggle and how they got hooked on drugs and how they were able to deceive people to get what they want. And, you know, there's a lot of power in that. Share it. You know, but we're all cynical now. Nobody believes. Nobody is optimistic. And everybody want to think the negative part and the cynicism. How about being grateful? How about being grateful? Being thankful. I want, but I'm working towards it and I'm going to get there. How about being grateful that my grandma was instrumental in raising me? I can at least go cut her grass. I can at least go provide a meal for her. You always think, oh my God, but some people have given their all to make sure that you are where you are today. You just more about being grateful and say thank you. Thank you. In your deeds, thank you. And if they need something, you're there for them. How about doing that? That's the mentality that you need to have right now. Forget the cynicism and forget talking about all the politics and all this stuff. What do you want to do? When we focus everywhere but here on ourselves, then we're doing everything. We're just complaining. I don't want to hear complaints. You know, people are like, well, I have all friends. I don't need friends. So if you're not talking to me about investment or what we can do as a partnership, or I'll sit there with you for a while, but I'm not really engaged with you because I think the conversation is stupid. Sometimes I might be a little too. That's who I am. I love who I am, and if you don't appreciate it, then I still love who I am. You know, embrace the youth. Embrace you're about to go on, because this is a journey that you won't believe where you end up. If you haven't known me 20 years ago, I talk slow and I'm still country, but I was a lot more countryer. But I wasn't engaged, but I was getting exposed to some things and understanding, and quite frankly, God throwing things in my face and throwing me out there, you know. I realize that I have a greater purpose now. I have a purpose to serve. I have a purpose to bring this information to people who would probably never have heard it unless someone was trying to sell you something that was a scam. And that's my journey. What's going to be your journey? I'll ask all of you, what's going to be your next journey? What's going to be the thing that's going to inspire and motivate you to get yourself? Step out on faith. This is what I want. go out and do it big. You know, and just like Nate, she has her vision and she's working it every day. She gets frustrated, she gets kicked back, she gets knocked down, she gets told she's crazy because all these people are doing all this stuff. You keep working, you keep doing it, and 5 years or less, it might take longer, it might take less. But you're gonna see that visualization become reality. And you're gonna be thankful, because I'm telling you, what you're doing, when people see you, they're going to say thank you. Nobody has called me in 5 years. All my kids have abandoned me. They've all left. And here you come calling me. Yeah. At first, I'm suspicious of you. What do you want? And after a while, I'm like, why did she ain't call me today? She called me every day at 2. Why is it 3 o'clock she ain't called me? You call her at 3:30. The impact that you're having right now, and people aren't saying it, but that's the impact you're having. But you know, it's that one bright spot that people can work for every day. So, in conclusion, you got to educate yourself. Whether you go to school, whether you read books, whether you got information on the internet, whether you look at YouTube, you got to be intellectually curious about what you want to do. The problem is, nobody's curious. If I sit here and tell you, you can do all this yourself, you're going to wait for somebody to hold your hand and walk you through. Make the mistake, but do it yourself. You do it yourself, you become the subject matter expert, and then you go teach somebody else, and you get better and better and better. Don't wait. You don't have to wait. Take advantage of the internet and run and take that opportunity. Get started early. If you get started early, then you got a wad of money, and by the time you get 30 or 40 years old, now the business idea is cemented in your head. You know what you want to do, and now you got to step out on faith, get that business, because you have the money already. And oh, by the way, when you get started, you got a business plan, you go into a bank, and you're enthusiastic, and you know what you're talking about, you're able to articulate everything you want to do. Guess what? With good credit, then you got money. People, oh, because I'm this, I can't get money. Well, let me tell you something. I had an issue one time with a bank that said they were going to finance a property. The day before closing, they said no. But because I have great credit and I know what I want to do, I got a $35,000 line of credit that I can just go write a check anytime to get what I want. So if I want to get a property, I'm going to get a property based on what I have invested and saved up and what this $35,000 get me. If I want it, I'm going to get it. There is no excuses, you know, and that's the way you got to set yourself up. You got to set yourself up for success, that when the opportunity presents itself, you are ready to rock and roll. People didn't like the recession, but the recession to me was the greatest era of my life, because I had the vision and the desire and the money sitting there waiting, and then a $200,000 duplex is $40,000. Oh my gosh. That's like a kid in a candy store. I about lost my mind when they told me they couldn't close on that deal. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Because I knew, because I had the one next door, I knew what this one was going to do. And I could not allow it to go unpurchased by me. And that's what you got to do, people. You got to be able to get out of the rat race. I'm worried about my bills. I got anxiety. I don't know what this is going to come from. You got to get rid of that mentality. You got to think big, and you got to think prosperous, and you got to do big and prosperous things. If you do extraordinary things, you become an extraordinary person. If you do lackluster things, you become a lackluster person. If you think those thoughts, you become it. Think positive, think greatness, and you become that great person. And so, with that, I am done. Are there any questions?
No question.
No questions? You got something. I'll give you my phone number. You can just call me or you can text me if you have any questions afterwards. I'm truly, man, what you need to do is just kind of sit down and write things down. And maybe next time I'm up here, we can get together and go over it and come up with a plan. You know, I'm here to serve and help. I'm not here to charge you any money yet. So we
Get you while you're free.
So we come with a plan today.
I have
You gonna
my
charge
own.
What you say?
me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna text you then.
Yeah, but I have my own business. And I have Facebook, I have Twitter. I don't do anything with Twitter. I'm learning. The blog, I don't know about the blog and stuff, but I don't do it like even though
Well,
I need to broaden, I'm trying to build more clientele.
well, let me throw this at you. I used to hate speaking in front of people. And what I did, I started working the sound ministry at church. I had to be in front of everybody in church, working on stuff and doing this. You know, I felt hot every time I did it, but I knew I had to do it. And I volunteered to keep in front of the whole Spartan, which is about 200 people. So I got up there and it's like a frog was in my throat. I felt thirsty. I felt hot. I kept drinking water and I kept sounding hoarse. But I forced myself to do things I knew would make me better. And that's what you got. You got to force yourself. You don't know anything about it, but you understand the power that it's going to bring to you. So you have to do it. You got to step out there and be uncomfortable for a while. And the way things work is you be uncomfortable at first, and then it's second nature tomorrow. It's just you blogging. It's just you doing this. But today, you can't see it, but you understand what you have to do.
Well, I talked in front of people before I was a supervisor over like.
But it's not, that was me. That was my, your issue is the blog, and your issue is the other kind of advertising that you need to do to build up your clientele. My issue was talking in front of people. And you know, so you're going to have to, I use that example so to let you know that you're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone in order to get where you need to go. You can't become that big person, staying sheltered in your comfort zone, because what you're trying to do requires you to have some new skills which you're going to learn when you go out there and start blogging. Teenagers, help me. Invite some, you know, get one of your cousins or something. Those kids want to do everything. You know, I've had to get my son, hey, can you help me with this? Because, Dad, you're so slow here. But, you know, that's the way they are. Their minds, they grew up with all this stuff, so they know how to do it easily. Get this, you know, throw pride away and be like, come on over here, little 14-year-old niece. Can you show me how to do this? Auntie, I can't believe you don't know how to do it. But she's going to show you. And she's going to help you as long as you need her. So, you know, do that. And you'll be surprised. And you come up with ideas and slogans.
I'm ready to stuff like that. It's just that I'm at home now with this condition. I be at home a lot. Like I changed it to what my allergies changed it to what. So that I can be sick late on the night, and who knows. But so I be at home a lot. So my thing is I still got advertising out there. So I went to another seminar, and it was for the iHeartRadio thing and stuff. So
Well, A lot of it is just like I sent out invitations to probably over at least 200 people. And, days ago. So I'm asking the same question, how can I get people to come? And I guess it's my hard head is everybody need to provide food. It's like well, you gotta understand my position here. I'm spending money to drive up here. I'm doing research and getting all this stuff, putting everything together. I'm buying a new projector and all this stuff just for here. And I gotta bribe you to come.
Right.
The people who want it will be here. And that's just but, when you're trying to make money, and so you might have to bribe. Hey, I'll give you half off of whatever business you're doing and get them hooked. Once they see who you are and what service you're providing, now they can't do without you. But you got to get them hooked. You might have to lose a little money up front, give them a discount. You more long term. You got the clientele and you got the money coming in, and that's where the rewards are. Just you have to just juggle it. I had this wonderful idea when I did my business plan. My goal was to get all of the tenants and teach them how to be homeowners and sell them the house. But, once you encounter a few of them, you're like, I don't know if you have a mentality to be a homeowner. So that's my dilemma. I invite them to my classes I have down there. They won't come. But I'm not going to force this information on you because it's worthless if you don't want it. If the time is not right, then you're not going to want it. So, just keep going. But I'll give you my phone for real, and we can communicate, and maybe together we can come up with something that's going to work. Because I'm having the same issue, just reaching out to people and getting them, getting them here.
Well, the radio, that's the big thing. That's what they was talking about. The best way to get it is things like iHeartRadio. Everybody's going to listen to the radio regardless of what they got going on. They're going to listen to the radio. Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, one of my dilemmas is what I'm presenting is transformational, but my target audience is underserved communities. So I have a conflict right there already, because typically middle class and affluent people will be really interested in this stuff, whereas people in poverty, they're not interested in it. So how can I hook them to be interested? And that's my dilemma, because I understand the power of this information and what it can do for your life, but I need to somehow get them here so they can understand the power. So I have a conflict. The audience I want to serve and the information I'm presenting, they don't match. But how do you rise up and become an extraordinary person? Never hear how to rise up and become extraordinary. Yes, ma'am?
Like you said, I be and they said, serve hot dog. They'll come. You'd be surprised.
Well, and I'm gonna. When
They come by, come to get me.
You got to feed
They
them.
come to feed me.
well, we have the consistent people, they want it, and they're getting information, essentially, you have gotten from the mental side, to the money side, to the career, to the education, everything that can be involved in your life and you becoming successful, you have been exposed to it.
Yeah.
The people who have been consistently coming.